everybody, it's Safi and Marco Dish Out on Movies, the only movie review show on YouTube to review movies in terms of food. And it's just Marco here today to talk about South Park Pandemic Special. So actually, plot twist, I realized, I have a Sling. And so I can actually watch these episodes live, or I can watch them the next day on Sling. So I don't have to do the whole HBO Max bullshit, because they took it off Hulu, and I still think that was horrible, shitty, stupid, because they have all these movies on Hulu that are on HBO Max, so it's like, why can't South Park be on there? I just thought that was stupid, but yeah. Anyways, I enjoyed this episode a great deal. It's sort of the opposite of Fargo Season 4, Episodes 1 and 2, to be honest. So, I do have a couple of negative things to say, but overall, I would say that this has probably been one of the best TV episodes of the whole year so far. And I think that it was a fantastic South Park episode. And it had great... It really felt like it was meant to be. Like, somehow, like, this episode was meant to happen. And it was like the perfect storm for for the writers. Unfortunately, like this whole thing was a good thing. That's not what I mean. I just mean that, like, they couldn't have asked for a better storm in terms of current year events. I do think that the first half, with all the COVID commentary and the jokes with that, was a lot funnier than the second half. I felt like the second half, until like the last 10 minutes, was kind of just not as good. I felt like it just was lacking in terms of COVID comedy. And the first half, though, was really, really funny, with all these great jokes about the masks and all that kind of stuff, and having the police come in as teachers, and then, of course, they do what they do in real life, and and I thought that was great. And then I loved what happens with them later on in the episode. I felt like, wow, this was a great payoff. And I don't know, it was just such an enjoyable episode. It was such a fun episode, and it had a lot of great fan servicey type of moments. Like, I loved when Kenny appears in the episode for a scene. I love that. And then I loved I loved mostly everything. I even liked the scenes that I didn't like, in terms of, like, I didn't like them because I thought, I don't really like when they touch on politics. It really doesn't work a lot of the times. A lot of the times, like, with that one episode from last year that I criticized heavily, and then got criticized for doing that, whenever they touch on current year politics in particular, they always feel a little biased in a way. I don't know. But they have they have two scenes with Mr. Garrett, doing the Trump thing, and they were both kind of like, especially the last one. This isn't a spoiler, but the Trump character basically turns to the camera, and he says, "Remember, there's an election coming up." And I just thought, that's the stupidest, most obvious, most just that was stupid. He doesn't know that there's a camera there. That was stupid. He turns to the camera and does that because he comes in, and the joke is really funny because he does this one thing, and it's like, wow, that's hilarious, because it's like The Thing, and it's like, that was great. But then he has to say something and ruins it, and I thought, God, that was unfortunate. And I liked the song. I liked Cartman in this episode and how he sort of has a change of heart. That's not spoiling anything. I mean, he's still the same old Cartman. I mean, he's always going to be the same old Cartman. And I think that another thing too is that I realized that I'm really thankful that South Park is still around. I know that there's lots of terrible animated shows like Family Guy, Simpsons. They shouldn't be on anymore. With the whole voice acting segregation bullshit they did and all that kind of stuff. And, they're not funny. They're just completely biased. Especially the Simpsons with the whole political shit that they do. But then you have South Park. South Park just, it does things for comedy instead of doing things for, the message. That being said, I did think those two Trump scenes, although they were funny at first, they kind of felt a little cringy with the way that they were handled. I also felt like Randy. The whole China thing. I was expecting a lot more in terms of Mulan, having to do with Mulan. And I don't want it to sound like I'm criticizing like this is like a negative thing, but I'm just saying. He mentions Mulan like once. And they have this whole thing where it's like it has to do with China, it has to do with him having gone to China, and then he just mentions Mulan once. And I thought that's stupid. I mean, Mulan was that was a huge deal that they made that shitty propaganda feminazi Mulan movie that no one wanted. They shot it near a fucking concentration camp. I mean, they should have made a bigger deal out of that. I really thought that was, I mean, like, speaking of current year stuff, I mean, there's literally people in concentration camps where they shot that piece of shit Mulan movie, and there's nowhere of that to be found in this episode. That being said, though, maybe it'll appear in a future episode, because I also felt like where this episode sort of failed was when it would stray away from being all about the pandemic and being, I mean, jokes having to do with the pandemic. Like the whole thing. I love that with the wait a second, did I get the names wrong? No, I didn't. There's so many characters in South Park history. Mr. Mackey, when he's doing the video call, and all the people start talking over, he has to keep pressing the button to mute them all, and then they're raising their hands like students. I just thought that was hilarious, and so yeah, overall, I would rate this episode an A-. I really think it was good. I don't think it was as good as Banned in China, but I think it was pretty damn near close. I mean, if it hadn't have had that line at the end with there's an election coming up, and then maybe if that little section near the middle to the end part a little bit was funnier. I mean, the last 10 minutes was really good, but there was this like chunk that went from the middle to that part, and I thought that could have been a lot funnier. But it still was really entertaining and a great distraction, a great way to take your mind off of the stuff going on. And yeah. So yeah, if you guys like this video, please thumbs it up. And subscribe to our channel. Share this video with all your friends and family. Go watch the other videos, like the Fargo videos where I got called racist just because I didn't like a show with an African-American actor in it. Because apparently that's a thing now. You can't criticize anything if it has an African-American actor in it. And then go check out like all the other videos, and yeah. And so I'll also be coming back with more South Park reviews if the season comes back, because that was one thing I wasn't really clear on, is if the show's returning anytime soon. If it does, because I heard they actually shot this all remotely, and I thought that's really cool. That's great. That's awesome that they did that all at home and did all that work effort. Such a great job doing that. I applaud them for doing that to entertain people. And so if they do come back, I will be reviewing it. So goodbye, everybody. See you soon for more South Park, aka Integrity Park. Because, well, spoiler alert, I thought that Randy's whole character arc this episode, this is what I meant by last season when I said that his arc was going a little bit too fast. You know, because last season it sort of seemed like he had a change of heart already, after that little tiny period of being a jackass. And this is what I meant was you had this perfect storm over here that happened all the way here, and it's like, you know, this was perfect. This was so much better and more believable in dealing with that and having him go through this transformation where he sees that, you know, and he has to change and all that stuff, and he's responsible. I think my favorite scene of the episode was the China stuff, just because it reminded me of that Band in China episode, and because they connected it with that, and, you know, you have Mickey Mouse coming back again. I thought that was great. And then I also love the Build-A-Bear stuff, and the stuff with the police having, like, military equipment and all that stuff, because it's true. I mean, that's great social commentary right there. And, you know, I love when they killed Kenny. I just thought that was great. So, yeah, that's all the spoilers I have. So, once again, for the last time, goodbye, everybody!